What's up, Soul Squad? What's up, my Soul Squad? Welcome to my kitchen. Yes, it's a voiceover because I had unexpected company, and my grandbaby is in there crying, eating, looking at Elmo. The TV is all loud, so I had no choice but to voice over this video. So we are doing a red velvet pound cake, y'all. Sit back and relax. It's the holidays. I wanted to do something festive. I never did a red velvet pound cake before. I done seen so many videos on it. I make an amazing red velvet cake. So I've been told, and I love it myself. So I decided to do a pound cake. I love a good pound cake. So guys, sit back, relax, and guess what we're gonna do? Hit that intro. Okay, so squad, we're gonna start with our dry ingredients. You're gonna need a separate bowl to prepare your dry ingredients. So in this bowl, y'all, I may be moving a little bit faster than I'm talking, or I may be talking a little bit faster than I'm moving. But we got some cake flour. Now you could use all-purpose flour, or you could use cake flour. I always like cake flour. I don't know why. I'm just not an all-purpose flour type person. I just always go to the cake flour. So this is a pound cake. So guys, you got to do your measurements. One thing about when you're baking, I eyeball everything, but when it comes to baking, I pretty much do my measurements. And with this particular recipe, we're going to level it off by using a cup, and we're going to do 3 cups of cake flour. So that was 1 cup, and I level it off. You can level off your measuring like with a back of a spoon or a back of a butter knife. Even with like I do, I use put it inside the bag, and I use the bag just to level it off. So that was my 2nd cup. Now I'm going in with my 3rd cup. And guys, again, I am using cake flour. You could choose to use all-purpose flour with this recipe. It will work just as fine. Only thing different is that I would say you will have to sift your flour, because what you want to make it kind of thin. So the next thing that I'm going to, just because this is a pound cake, and guys, I gotta look at what I'm doing. Okay, I think I'm about to go in with my cocoa. So this is 100% Hershey cocoa. With this recipe, we are going to use 2 tablespoons. Okay, 2 tablespoons of cocoa. Now you're gonna see me do 4, because the original recipe they was doing like 1/4. Like I said, I never made a red velvet pound cake before, so I was all over the place trying to find different recipes to use and stuff. And a lot of people, some people's using 1/4 cup of cocoa. And when I normally make my red velvet cake, I only use 1 tablespoon of cocoa mix. So I was going by different recipes and blend it all together to, just coming up and making my own. And I opt out with the 4 tablespoons, which equals 1/4 of cocoa mix. But I'm telling you, the cocoa with the cake was good, but the chocolate was just too overpowering. So I would say with this particular recipe, I will only use 2 tablespoons of cocoa, guys. So use 2 tablespoons of cocoa. I'm going in with my baking powder, and I am going to use 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And you see how I level it off? With baking, you want everything to be precise when it comes to the measurements. So I'm using 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I just use my finger just to help level that spoon off. So yeah, again, we're going to go back to the cocoa. Use 2 tablespoons only. Just use, even though you see me what I'm doing, I liked it, but I didn't like the cocoa. It was just a little bit too much. Okay, so use 2 tablespoons. I'll put the recipe in the description. And just because you saw me do what I do, just please follow the recipe. I am using 1/4 teaspoon of salt, guys. And now I only You may not hear me say the measurements anymore. This was my dry ingredients because I really wanted to talk about that cocoa and how I felt it made the cake taste. I felt it was a little bit overpowering because it's not a chocolate cake. And I should have, when you get new recipes and you're trying out different recipes, you really want to like try to make them your own, but sometimes you want to stick to the pattern. But in this particular recipe, I think 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. If you see it in anybody's recipe, to me, it's just a little bit too much. I was sticking to 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. I'm just blending in my dry ingredients now, guys. I'm blending all my dry ingredients in with a whisk. I just want to get it all combined, and then what I'm going to do is once I blend it, I am going to set it to the side because at this point we're going to start on our wet ingredients.
Let's start on our wet.
Okay, guys, so we going in with our wet ingredients. So the first thing I'm going in with, because this is a pound cake, I have my unsalted sticks of butter that's at room temperature. Now you want them soft, but you don't want them overly too soft because you want to get a good whip on it. So that's my first stick, and yeah, I know what's taking me so long to get the second stick in here, but ultimately I am going in with 3 sticks of room temperature butter. At one point they had gotten too soft, and I stuck them in the refrigerator, in the freezer area for maybe 6 to 7 minutes to get a little bit more stiffness to them, because like I said, you want room temperature, but you don't want it soft. So if you take your butter out and it feel like it's like too soft, stick it back in the freezer like for 3 to 4 minutes or so, just to get it a little bit stiffness. And I'm gonna stick it in the freezer and forget about it, and you have to wait all over again. Okay, so now I'm going in with my sugar. Don't nobody say anything. This is a pound cake. This is decadent. It's not for watching your waist. This is why it's called a pound cake. Now I am going in with 3 cups of sugar. Guys, every pound cake recipe, if you're a baker, you know this is what we use. So I'm going in with 3 cups of sugar, and just like my flour, you have to level it off, because remember, we are baking, and when it comes to baking, measurements are key if you want to get a good bake anything you're baking. And also, everything needs to be at room temperature. Now, what I did do is that prior to baking this, I forgot to take my eggs out. So what I did, that's my 3rd cup of sugar. I took 5 eggs and I placed them in a bowl, and I stuck them in some warm water until I was ready, and that will bring your eggs to the room temperature. So if you forget to take your eggs out, that's okay. Put them in a warm water in a bowl and let them sit for 20 to 30 minutes, and honey, they will be exactly how you need it. Now I'm putting my whisk on here. This is a wire whisk, guys. Now, to get like a fluffy cake, because I want this cake nice and fluffy, and you want to make sure all the sugar is gone, no sugar crystals is left, we're going to mix this to like 8 to 10 minutes. Really, 8 to 10 minutes. It's not going to turn into no butter or anything like that, because you want to get a nice, rich, creamy, yellow, not yellow, but white, pale, fluffy cream. This is what this is going to turn into. So literally, in between those 8 minutes, you're going to keep opening up your mixer, because you're going to take a spatula or a spoon, whatever you have, and you're going to push down those sides. And I think in the 8 minutes of me fluffing this and doing this, I think about 3 times I pushed those sides down like I'm doing right now. And I think I did at least about 3 times during the whole 8 minutes process of this mixing well. Because again, you want to mix it, but you don't want to over mix it, but you want to mix it to those crystals from the sugar is really completely dissolved. And that takes anywhere between 8 to 10 minutes to get that nice fluffy white creaminess that I'm talking about, that you guys will see. I'll show you guys at the end of this clip, or it's going to be the next clip, beginning of the next clip, when I'm going to show you how I'm saying how I want it nice, white, and fluffy. Okay, guys, so look how fluffy and white this is. This is the look that I'm going for when you let it go ahead and mix for 8 to 10 minutes. You want to make sure all the little crystals, sugar crystals, are gone out of there, and you want this color. just like this, and I'm just banging my I don't have a spatula, guys. I gotta get me one, but I'm just taking my spoon. We going in now. We're gonna go in with those eggs. Remember those eggs I talked about? So I cracked them in an individual bowl. I cracked all 5 eggs in one bowl, and we're gonna go in with one egg at a time, mixing well to all 5 eggs is gone. Sometimes what I used to do is that I used to just crack my eggs over top of my cake mix and go for it. But since I had to get my eggs to room temperature by having them in the warm water, and guys, no, not in the warm water, crack. Put your whole egg in the warm water, and then once the eggs warm up, then crack them into a bowl. Somebody said she cracked those eggs. She got water mixing them eggs. No, water's not mixing my eggs. They were, they were the regular whole eggs I set in warm water, and then once they came to room temperature, I cracked them in a bowl. So what I'm doing now is that I'm just pouring each egg in there one at a time. That was my last egg, and I'm just going to continue to mix well. And at one point, I will be lifting up my mixer, and even with this, you want to push down the sides. You want to scrape that bottom. You want to make sure that all of your mixture come to the middle so that everything can mix well. So that's what I'm doing right here. Y'all excuse the noise in the background there in the kitchen, but it's still better than the noise, that the actual noise of this video when I had so much company yesterday. Okay, so I'm just banging all the extra cake batter off my spoon, and down we go, and we're gonna go ahead and mix in those eggs. Want to make sure them eggs are mixing very, very well to beat it in, but not overbeat, but make sure that they're done. So we be right back. We're going to the next clip, guys. Okay, so right now, what bowl? This is the bowl. I got to figure out what I'm about to do here. What we doing here? What we doing here? All right, we are doing the buttermilk. Okay, so I actually got my hands on some pure buttermilk. Sometimes it's hard to get my hand on pure buttermilk. Usually when I go to the store, they be having low-fat buttermilk. So guys, if you come across this recipe and you want to use it, if you don't have the whole buttermilk, it's okay. You could use the low-fat buttermilk. I have used it so many times and so many recipes. Now this cup I got from Amazon. It's like a measuring liquid and solid cup, and they're disposable. You can use these particular cups for liquid or for solid. So in my bowl, I am going to pour 1 cup of buttermilk, because this recipe only calls for 1 cup of buttermilk. And to this 1 cup of buttermilk, look, I'm trying to make sure I get everything, because that buttermilk thick. It's like, girl, get it all. I'm going there with my food coloring, but not just yet. I'm showing y'all what I'm using. This McCormick food coloring, we will be using the whole bottle. But before I add that in there, we're going to go in with the vanilla. Okay, this is pure vanilla. I told you guys, when I'm baking, I like to use pure vanilla, but I know sometimes that could be a little expensive, so you can't use the imitation vanilla. Use whatever vanilla you have on hand, okay? And guys, it's taking me a minute to get this thing off. I'm going with 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And again, this is going to be in the description. I'm going to write the recipe down in the description. But since I'm doing this voiceover, I just thought I'd just go ahead and throw it out there, because I'm making my wet ingredient mixture. And you have to have some white distilled vinegar. I'm going with 1 teaspoon. And what that do is that also brings out that cocoa flavor in your cake. It also make it bright and vibrant when you use the distilled vinegar. And that's another reason why I think that's only you need 2 tablespoons of cocoa versus 1/4 cup of cocoa. Anytime you get a recipe from anybody, how you make the recipe your own is that you can always start out doing what that person's recipe, step by step. But when you do it and you feel and you make it and it's not right, then you could tweak it. All right, this is cake batter. Guys, I love cake batter. I'm not going to lie. I discovered using cake batter from Old School, Soul School. Anybody know who he is? And I said, let me try that one day. And so I tried the cake batter, and it takes your cake to another level. And you only put 1 teaspoon of this. It makes it feel like you like in a bakery or something with your flavor. So I love this extra step. Now, this is optional. You don't have to go out and buy a cake batter. That is optional. And last but not least, the next thing we're going to do, guys, is that we're going to prepare and pull in our red velvet. We're gonna pour our red velvet in, but first let me stir all my ingredients up together into this buttermilk. The red velvet is the last thing that I'm pouring into this mixture. Now you don't have to do it this way, but I just think it just makes everything easier when you just go ahead and just use mix all your wet ingredients up together, and you could use that. I'm having such a hard time. I don't know why. I had a hard time getting the little, got a little plastic off the top of the red velvet bottle, guys. I probably could sing a Christmas song and come back, and I still didn't get the. And it took me a hard time to get there. I didn't even pull it all the way up. I just bent it back a little. So, and as you guys can tell, I am using the whole bottle of red velvet food coloring. Now, and you can use the gel, but I like the food coloring. And sometimes I have this red velvet color that I buy from King Arthur, but I didn't have that on hand right now. So I stirred it all up together, mixing all my wet ingredients. And now we're going to turn on the mixer, and we're going to add, this is our eggs and sugar mixer right here. So to this, we're going to add in the flour. Now, we're going to start off with dry, and we're going to end with dry. So if you're a baker, you know that's how we do. We start off with dry, we end with dry. And so I'm going to go in and use my spoon. You know what, y'all? I need the best in the scoop, because I thought about it. Maybe I should have lifted up, added some in it, and then pull it back down. Honey, I was trying my hardest just to, just add it in on the side. But next time, I know better. Next time, do better, think better. So, yeah, so I'm just going in with some of this dry ingredients, mixing into my butter and sugar mixture right here. That's why I swapped out from the spoon to the measuring cup. It really didn't even make no difference. Me just being, I should just lift it up. Now I'm going in with some wet ingredients to stir that all up together. And I think I end up doing this about 3 times before all of my dry ingredients are gone. And we're going to end it with the wet. And then once we do that, we're just going to speed it up a little and let it just go ahead and incorporate all those ingredients together. I think this is my last and final time. I'm not sure. I think this is the second time I'm going in with. Everybody ready for Christmas? It's like a week or so away. Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you for supporting my videos. Thank you for being patient through my transition. But I will be coming back with my videos twice a week. Right now, we're starting off with this red velvet pound cake with cream cheese frosting. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So I think that was the last. Because I'm looking here, and this most definitely is the last of the wet ingredients, the milk and everything that's going inside here. And what I decided to do is that once I turn this up and let it speed up and whip, I'm going to take some of the batter out, and I'm going to stick it in my bowl, and I'm going to stir the batter up in the bowl so I can get all of that red food coloring. Yeah, see how I show how so much of the red food coloring left in that bowl? Watch what I'm about to do. So right here is where I took some of that mixer out, and I put it in that bowl, and I put it back, and then I'm going to turn my mixer on. I don't want to waste any of that red velvet food coloring. Right now, it looked like a little pinkish or whatever, but trust and believe me, at the end, you're going to see the red color. Like I said, because of that distilled vinegar, it gives it it brightens the color of the food coloring. It enhances the flavor of the cocoa. And so, yeah, and I'm scraping my sides down. I was going to use my red KitchenAid, but I have to find the pieces to it because everything is still packed up. And I know I have the pieces because I just literally saw them, but I don't have the right piece. I have the dough hook. So I had to go in my boxes and get the wire whisk and then the flat paddle. So I decided to use my brown mixer. So we're just going to put this down, guys, and we're going to let this just speed on up. And it is a long video. Anytime you baking, the video tend to be a little longer, at least 28 to 35 minutes or so, because you want to be very precise when you're giving out ingredients and recipes. And again, with this recipe, hey, I'm just laying down the platform. You could take this recipe and say, hey, I'm going to do something different. I saw what she did, but maybe if I do this, it'll elevate it. So I just went in with a half a cup, guys. No, I didn't measure it because, you know me, I always say measuring is key, but that spoon right there, I have used that spoon using in a half a cup, so I know that spoon is exactly a half a cup. So this is a half a cup of sour cream, which is at room temperature that I placed into my batter. So what we about to do now is that I use Baker's Joy. If you want to do what your grandma did and your mother did, if you want to grab the butter and the flour, honey, do it, okay? Remember, your kitchen your way, my kitchen my way. But today we are taking this Baker's Joy, or it don't have to be name brand, any type of baking spray, and we're going to spray this pan down. Now, this is a 10-cup pan, meaning that you're gonna get 10 cups of batter. And this batter is a huge batter. It takes about 12 cups. So you guys know I'm gonna have I'm gonna have some batter left over. And if you have leftover batter, honey, you can put it in another little pan. You can make some little cupcakes with it. That's what I'm going to do. So right now I'm just stirring up my cake batter, making sure I got all the sides, all the sour cream, everything, dig from the bottom, and we're gonna go ahead and pour it into our pan. And I'm still gonna check the dough, because this may be an 8. I don't know what size this pan is. I know this is not my typical pan when I make pound cake, because I usually use like an angel food type pan. But if you got one of those old school big button pan that's like a 12 cup, it will take this whole full recipe when it comes to a pound cake. But this particular pan is not going to take, I think it just took just enough. And I think I got enough room. I'm getting all the air bubbles out, guys. So anytime you see a person slamming their cake on their countertop or table, is because they're getting those air bubbles out before they start baking. So I think I may have enough in here. I'm just wiping stuff up. Y'all, it was hot in the kitchen. Let me tell you that. Okay, it was hot in the kitchen, hot in the house, that we had that heat on blast, okay? So right now what I'm about to do is that it looks like I could add a little bit more to it. So I'm just going to add a little bit more, and then I'm going to go ahead and bang it again. And I really didn't have that much batter left, but it was enough batter to do something with. So I didn't throw my batter away, guys. I didn't show it on camera, okay? But I just used the batter in something else. Made a little cake with it. Now I am making my frosting. This is a cream cheese frosting, guys. We're going to go in. I already have my cream cheese in here. It's at room temperature. Okay, so use 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese. Any brand that you want is up to you. Now I'm going in with a stick of room temperature softened unsalted butter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cream both of these together before I add in my vanilla and my 2 cups of powdered sugar. That's all I'm using is 2 cups of powdered sugar. There we go. Where she stopped, nobody knows. Sometimes it's kind of fun to do voiceovers, okay? But again, my grandbaby was here, and there was just so much noise in the background. You know, he was just getting love. Yeah, I'm doing some powdered sugar and pure vanilla on this. And we're just going to let it whip up. And no, it doesn't take long to whip up the cream cheese and the butter together. I love a good cream cheese frosting. So I'm going to cut it off. We're going to lift it up. And guys, I know I tell you measurement is key, but some certain things, and when I got baking for so long, I could just go ahead and say, okay, this is this is that. But in this particular case, this is what I did, okay? So I didn't measure out my powdered sugar. I did 2 cups of powdered sugar, but I know when it's 2 cups. I just had this feeling with it just enough. And then I did a teaspoon of vanilla in this. And I'm just going to go ahead and blend it up real well together. But if you guys don't know, please pull out your measuring cups, okay? And measure out 2 cups of powdered sugar, and measure out your 2 teaspoons or your 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Do your measurements on this. When it comes to just making this frosting, I've been making this cream cheese frosting for so long. It's like I just know it from the back of my hand. Now I'm adding a little bit of milk. Now typically I do not add milk to my cream cheese frosting, but since I'm trying to make like a runny type glaze situation here, I decided to add like a tablespoon of milk to really get it loose. So again, typically I do not add any liquid to my cream cheese frosting because that is such a soft and delicate frosting with the cream cheese. You really don't need to add any liquid. But for this cake, I decided to do that, add in some milk so that we could get it as thin like I want it. Okay, so this is looking good. I'm going to take off the wire whisk. Y'all, when I tell y'all that that frosting was good. That frosting tasted good. So I'm flipping my cake over, guys. She came out so pretty. And you can see, even though the batter looked pink, you can see how bright red this is. It came out so, so, so good. And also what I didn't show on camera is that I kind of put my cream cheese frosting in a bowl and I stuck it in the microwave like on 30 seconds. So I wanted to get it a little bit looser. You know, I think that could be it. I could do a little bit more, but I think this is it. The cake is really, really cooled down. It is not hot at all. Now, don't laugh. I think I told Soul Squad. If you're new here and you just watch this video and you're not you're not a OG, let me just say, I will bake a hell of a cake for you, okay? I will bake a cake for you by scratch all day long. But when it comes to frosting or designs, even trying to do a drizzle glaze, I don't have it in me. I am not creative in that area. I cannot frost and nothing. I tell people I make the cake and you tell somebody else to frost it because or decorate it because it won't. Child, it's gonna look a hot mess, but it's gonna taste good. And right now, this red velvet pound cake, she's looking a hot mess. But guess what? She's gonna taste amazing. And like I said, you can take this recipe. I just laid the foundation. You could tweak it, do something different, eliminate, but you can't eliminate too much, but do something different. Like I said, the cake batter is optional. Once before, do not use 1/4 cup of cocoa. I think the cocoa was a little bit too overpowering. I had got that from different recipes. The next time I make it, I'm just going to use 2 tablespoons of cocoa because again, when I make a red velvet cake, I only use 1 tablespoon of cocoa, and you could really taste the cocoa in that cake. But other than that, the cake was really, really good. The cake, it was really, really good. I really couldn't eat it because, guys, I can't eat this stuff. But my family said it was good, and then I just took a piece of it just to taste it. I didn't even do the frosting. I tasted the inner piece, and it was nice and soft, and it was moist, and it came out really, really well. So what you guys will see in this next clip, because I'm about to do what? I'm about to cut her. Look, that's the best you could get from me when it comes to this cake. I'm trying. Comment below if you could bake a cake, but you cannot frost it or decorate. I mean, let me know because I just want to feel like I'm not alone in this department. But I am trying my best. Look, she's trying. She even got the back of the spoon going down the sides and everything. Yeah, but I think maybe if I would have made it a little bit more thinner, but I didn't want to keep zapping it in the microwave. I didn't want to do that with my frosting. So I think if I could have made it a little bit more thinner, maybe the drizzle would have been more better. Now, some people like walnuts and stuff on their like on their carrots cakes and like on their red velvet cake. I don't do the nuts on the cake, but what I will do is that I'll take some cake and I will crumble it on top as a decoration, guys. So here we go. We're about to take a slice of this cake. Like I said, it's very moist. I think y'all just heard my heat come on. And look at this. Let me just get her. Can I pick her up? Yeah, I got her. Here she come. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. Look at that red velvet cake. Red velvet pound cake. She came out good, okay? Let me get her over here on this paper plate. Who loves this paper plate? Because, honey, I can't stand doing dishes. I'm on paper plates to everybody. When you walk in my cabinet, you think you see a stack of dishes. You're going to see a stack of paper plates. Look at it. It's so nice and moist. And when I say the house is smelling good, the house is smelling good. She came out so well. I say like, share, subscribe. Hit that bell to be notified, guys. Go check out my vlogging channel, SoulfulT Vlogs. Check out my sister channel, New Life Journey. Please thumbs up this video. And if you make this cake, it's going to be in the description below. Check out my son's channel, The Vlogging Life of Mike. Until next time. See, that's what I did. There's the picture. That piece I cut, just decorated the cake.